Hey. Oh boy. It's Bitty Penny. Welcome to my channel. And welcome to the little frog in my throat. Woo. All right, here we go. Well, yesterday, you guys, I had the best time crafting with you guys, and I had so much fun making these cards with you. If you missed that, you might enjoy going back and watching it. Um, So we made all of these live yesterday, and we even decorated the insides of cards, each one. And it was just a whole lot of fun, and I'm really excited to have these on my stash. I came back to my desk this morning and they were sitting on my desk, and they just made me happy. So yes, those cards now are, it's time for them to go to the side so that we can make something different. Yesterday, I had hoped that we would get to the point that we'd be making clusters. And I really want to make some clusters from my Journalsay products because this is what this binder looks like at the moment. Kind of extreme. It's an old photo album that I took and turned into an ephemera binder. Very simply, the only thing I did is took paper and I insert the paper and then fold it over, and then I use paper clips to hold things in, which is very handy because when you don't, things like this happen. Anyhow, so I'm going to use some of this stuff up. I'm also going to use watercolor because I used to not make a card without watercolor, and y'all hardly ever see me use it anymore, and it's just a medium I miss so much. This is what the outside of the album looks like. And so 50 cents at my thrift store. So if you ever run across these and you have a lot of ephemera like me, you might pick up those old photo albums you find at yard sales or thrift stores, especially when you can get them for a quarter or 50 cents. I don't know what you can get for a quarter or 50 cents anymore, but hopefully you can find some old photo albums. Now, I have so much that I can't even fit it all in a photo album from Journalsay. And the last time I was shopping with them, using my own money, by the way, I did pick up some of the paper dolls because I wanted to try them out. And they're different than like Tim Holtz because they're in color. They're kind of these beautiful like 50s girls. They come in like a rainbow. So there's like pink and purple, this kind of taupe, brown, white neutrals, and then blues and greens. And I love that. So you can get a little rainbow. And then there's also these steampunk people with sunglasses or spectacles on, making a spectacle, if I do say so myself. So I also have a rainbow of paper from Journalsay, and I have some other stuff too, but I figured all of this is great for making clusters. And yes, this is a mushroom box from the grocery store, but I'm not fancy, so it works for me when I need to corral some paper crafting supplies. See, works like a charm. All right, let's do this, and let me say hello. I see lots of you have joined in, and I'm so excited you're here. I have a hack for clusters. I am a person, and hello, my name is Bitty Penny, and I struggle to make clusters. Like, it really is, I feel like, a struggle for me, which seems kind of ridiculous because most of the time I make layered cards, so it doesn't seem like something that I should struggle to do, but I feel like I do. But I think I figured out a hack for myself, and maybe if you struggle to make clusters, it'll be a hack for you as well. So I'm going to put all my paper to the side because it's time to get some watercolor out. We are going to be turning all of these into cards, but you don't have to. You can use your clusters to decorate, and some of them I might put into my cluster books. Time will tell. what I do with these. I did make some clusters at the little coffee meetup that I went to of Rebecca Hoots with my friend Deidre. And I had my cluster books with me, so I made this one. And I made some others. Oh, I made these really cool kind of Art Nouveau ones like this. That day, it had been about a week, this one, since I had crafted, and so I wanted a really simple project for myself. So we might also stash away some of the clusters we make today into my little cluster books. Okie doke. And then if you, let me also show you one more thing, because not everybody sees everything. I mean, it's really hard for anybody to keep up these days because there's so many fabulous crafters, and that's fine and good. Visit them all that you want or can. I made a whole junk journal with you guys, and all the videos are on my channel. We made this accordion journal, and the whole theme for this one is clusters. So I used one of my clusters for the front and back covers. This is an accordion style journal. And then I decorated it with clusters. I did not use any printables except for if they were in the clusters already. We stamped, but all the pockets, all the different things. This is actually an ink box card, but this is a cluster. They were all made with clusters. This is a cluster that we made together. So clusters can be used in your journals. They can be used just about anywhere. I called this cluster, and that's probably a little bit of cheating, but who cares? It's paper. It's your craft room. You can call things anything you want. There's no one policing that. When I was making clusters, I made these because I was struggling. And that goes back to me. At the time, I was even in my head thinking of how much I struggled to make clusters. But we're not going to struggle anymore. I think I have a hack for us. This one I turned into, this is another cluster that I just put on a master board. And that could be a postcard or whatever. I would need to back it. It's made on the back of an old calendar from last year. But yeah, so I don't know. Let's not count how many times I'm going to say the word cluster in one video. But yeah, that is what this whole journal was themed after, and it was a really cool way to decorate a journal, if I do say so myself. It was a lot of fun, and I like how eclectic it all kind of came together once it was all said and done. So there is that little beauty. Alrighty. Let me say hello to all the beautiful people. Miss Kim, first one in. Hey, darling. Let's see. It's like 5 a.m. there. Oh, bless your heart. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Elena. Hi, Vicki. Hey, Dawn. Oh, Mariah. Hello there, sweetheart. Hi, Rose. And say hello to Patricia. Hi, Rose. Hi, Flo. Good to see you. Hey, Vicki. So good to see you guys. Oh, yeah. Patricia and Mariah from PM Artist Studios. Super sweet, you guys. Gel printing queens. Mixed media just to the max, and I absolutely love it. I've been missing you guys too. I need to come say hi. I need to come check in with you. It's been a while. I used to have more YouTube time, and I have a lot less YouTube time now because I started a business, and then personal life kicked off. It's been really personally kicking me in the head. Last night I was up in the middle of the night because when I'm stressed out, I can't sleep. And so I watched the full episode of Craft Roulette with my friend Nima. It was on was yesterday Friday too? Yeah, I see. I don't even know the day of the week anymore. yesterday was Friday, and Nima was on. Nima hangs out with us in the chat quite a bit, you guys. She did craft roulette and she did awesome. And she is just a bright light and a whole bundle of fun. Hey, Jill Pounds. If I see Jill, I suspect John's around. Hey, John Pounds. I don't see you in the chat yet, but howdy, howdy. Nikki Jane, hi. Saying hi to everybody. And Miss Valerie. And hello to you, Miss Valerie. And Oliver, if he's around in an earshot. All right. Good morning, Cordelia. How you doing? Okay, let's do this thing. I need to play with watercolor. Miss Nima, it's been calling me, and then Miss Nima was playing with her watercolors, coloring up, I always want to say trolls, but they weren't trolls, they were gnomes. And, well, I couldn't come to my craft room and play along because it was 2 o'clock in the morning. But I knew I'd make it here. I'm going to use the Strathmore watercolor paper, and I really love this size, 11 by 15 for 5 by 7s, because I can get a whole bunch of them from one sheet of paper. So we're going to take a sheet of this, and it's going to take us a little bit to cover this, and that's okay. I might get my big brush out. We'll make a mess. We might do some sprays and things like that. I am hoping that UPS knocks on my door while we're here today and that my new paper comes in. It is due to arrive and I cannot wait to see it. I'm just gonna give all of my watercolors a spritz because they haven't been used in a minute. And I want kind of a whole rainbow to work with. So everybody gets a drink of water this morning. Just gonna add some water to my palette there as well. I can even start by picking up some of this. Do y'all ever buy nice brushes and then don't use them? I do. It's silly. It's ridiculous. This is a nice brush. I'm going to use it. It's just like when you have china or, you know, special like plates put away for only special occasions. It's like, just use them. If you break a plate, really, is it the end of the world? Just use your stuff. Okay, yeah, so used to, I could not make a card without watercolor because it's how I love to color my images. It's how I love to make my backgrounds. It's just my favorite, y'all. Let's add in some blue. Now this is like a phthalo blue, so it's kicking super hard. I'm gonna bring it over here and knock it back a little. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't usually like make swipes like this. This is just something fun. I'm just playing because that is what I like to do. I like to play. And I think I'm just going to make kind of like half of my paper cool blues, greens, and then throw some rust in on it. Rusty colors, and then I'll make the other side over here more like yellow, red, orange, and we'll throw some like turquoise kind of patina color on that. So I kind of want like rusty and colors and patinaed colors. So that's where we're headed. Let's see, I kind of need a palette, and I don't have a bucket, a water bucket, and I don't have one. That's not a good recipe when you're playing with watercolors. I might have to BRB and go get me, oh, that's a pretty blue. Persian blue. Okay. Hey, to be such a nice brush, why is it shedding bristles? Hey, Paula Rice. Didn't Nima do great last night? She was so much fun from the beginning to the end. And boy, those parameters were enough to throw anybody off. Just initially, the shock of it all, like footwear, sweater, 3 folds, and a post-it note. Very memorable, I must say. You guys, I think what I might do is get out my graphite Kuritakis as well, because we're gonna knock some of this back. Ooh, and let's play with a little bit of this more blue-green as well. And I just need to cover my paper because who knows where this is going? Not me. Oh my goodness. The boys last night wanted to watch. Uh, well, my son has never seen it, but the movie There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis. I think it's a P.T. Anderson. Is it P.T. Anderson? No. I don't know if that's a P.T. Anderson. I can't remember. Movie, but about the oil man. It's so intense. I am not an intense I don't do intense anymore. I'm very PG. Like, you want to watch Trolls World Tour? Sure. You want to watch uh oh my gosh, the new Lego movie was Piece by Piece, I think is what it's called. The Pharrell Williams story and Lego was amazing. I totally loved that movie. Okay, I'm going to work with a little less color on my brush and I'm going to let it to fan out. See this texture that I've got here? I'm going to use that as some like mark making texture and it's creating like these stripes. I like that. Let's get some more of that going on. Ooh, coffee. I have fallen in love with matcha, you guys. And that is not cheap, but so delicious. And I know I'm behind the curve. I refuse to participate in trends while they're happening. I'm a weirdo and I wait until the trend has completely died off. And then I'm like, let me try that thing that millions of people around the world love and see what it's all about. And then I try it and I'm like, why did I wait? I've been this way my whole life. I don't know that it'll ever change. There may be no hope for me in that regard. Okay, let me get, you'll know, I love these. And looking for my other graphites, but I'm not seeing them. Hey, look, I need to go grab a bowl of water. I'll BRB, okay? I know it's not much to look at, but I'll be right back. Y'all chat with each other. I'm gonna grab a bowl of water real quick. All right, I'm back. I didn't grab a bowl. I grabbed a glass. with Krusty the Clown on it. Y'all can't really see him or I'm going to pour water all over my desk. But yeah, Krusty glass. All right. Here are my graphites as well. But honestly, with what I'm kind of wanting to go with, I think these granulating colors from Kuretake are gonna be better. Hi, Jennifer McKinnon. Hello, hello. We are making clusters today, but first we're doing some backgrounds with watercolor. Orange. I want some orange. Now, going to have to be a little bit careful with this orange over the blue because we're talking about like complementary colors. And when you're talking about layering complementary colors, you're talking about mud, especially like in watercolor. But we're going to make it work. And yeah, I'm getting this on the blue, and that's fine because it's going to go there anyways. All right. Now, with these particular watercolors, only these and no others that I've ever really known before, they give you this blank cup so that you can mix and separate. So this is what you're supposed to do. They give you that blank cup inside right here for this purpose. You see the separation between the orange and the blue right there? So you're not supposed to go like directly from the pan to your project. You're supposed to separate them out like this. Roll them around a little bit. It's kind of hard to do in a triangle, but you're supposed to roll it around a little bit and let the pigments actually separate here and then here, is the theory. This is where we could bring in a stencil and stencil through with watercolor. Let me just grab one real quick like. Just taking one right off the top of the box, and it's dirty, but that's fine. It's dirty with brown, so it'll be just fine. Let's stencil through some of this. And stenciling with watercolor is really messy and not precise at all. So you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. It's going to be a little bit of a mystery. It's going to be a little bit of a mess. Nothing's going to be exact, but it can be done. And I have stenciled with these watercolors before and absolutely loved the results. Now, one thing about these watercolors is to get the best results, you need a good amount of water. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in here like this. And I'm going to go back and grab that same color again. Hi, Sharon Caster. Hi, Maritza. How you doing? Hey, Beck Ann. Good to see you all. And don't worry, I am going to go back real quick. I'm going to let these, I'm going to mix up some more of these watercolors. I know I've missed, y'all are very active in the chat today. And I'm going to read a little bit that I missed, and then I'm going to start it back up again so it doesn't stop. Ooh, okay, Mariah, I'm on it. She says green matcha latte with 3 pumps of chai because chai has always been my favorite. Hello, I'm doing that. I'm going to call it the Mariah Special. Yes. I know what I'm doing today. I have to take my son for a haircut. Sounds like mom's getting, oh, but that's at 5 and then I'll be up all night. Well, I'll have to do it earlier. My mom's coming over, so maybe we can go get a matcha. Okay, so lots of water, you guys, for the best results. You kind of want it to actually puddle. I haven't exactly done that here, so I'm not seeing the separation that I love and adore in these, but that's just user error. It's not paint error. It's my fault. I'm the problem. Okay. Alrighty then, let's take this up. And as it dries, the magic will kind of happen. And you actually want to some of this pooling color here, because that's where the most interesting part is going to take place, is with those pooled parts of paint. Okay, so don't drink it, don't drink it. I have to tell myself that. I have this random scrap of white paper off to the side over here, and I'm just gonna flip my stencil over and transfer that onto there. And I'm gonna let it sit, to be honest. And I want to get all that awesome color, because all that green that you see is what we were just working with. So I'm gonna put that off to the side. I can't help myself, because sometimes those clean-offs end up being my favorite pages anyways. So let me clean my brush. Alrighty. And get back to the chat. I'm just gonna set my wet brush right here. It will be fine. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I went to the grocery store and I was like, let me buy some matcha. I'm going to make it myself. And then my grocery store had 0 matcha options. Come on, HEB. And then I was like, okay, interesting. 0. Okay. So then, you know, where do you go? Amazon. So I went on Amazon. Of course, they had too many options, because I was like, I don't know. And I'm not doing ceremonial grade, because I'm not paying $115 for a 1-ounce can of matcha. That wasn't their only options, but it's like so many different grades. Then, you know, it's like, oh my gosh. And then I tried reading the reviews and I'm like, you people are serious. And now you've got me all confused. So I walked away with 0 matcha and told myself it would be a special treat that I get when I'm willing to leave the house for it. And that was the conclusion of my matcha shopping experience. I've always loved green tea. I'm very sensitive to caffeine, though. I have to watch it. But I had that matcha at, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon that day, and I slept just fine that night. So I'm convinced I can drink it. The fun thing about making your own like mixed media and paper backgrounds and things like this is you can have any color palette that you want to work with. And today I didn't want just one color palette, but I wanted 2. You know, I wanted the warms, the orange, the green, and the blue. So since I'm making it, I can do that. I want to bring in some of this more purple red. So when you're working with reds, you've got a purple base kind of red, and you've got an orange or yellow based red that you can pull from. And I'm wanting to go over this. This one I wanted to go over with like an orange rusty color. And it's not quite as rusty as I want, but that's okay. It's going to be fine and I like it. With this one, we're going to go over it in a teal kind of color. If you're wondering what watercolors I'm using today, I'm using the oh, what are these called? Mission Gold series watercolors. So I have no idea how much these cost because you guys, I bought these probably 5 to 7 years ago, and I still have so much paint, and it came with this fabulous palette that I love very much, and I've never needed for any more. So I don't know what the current go rate is. I'm sure it's a ton more than what I paid for it because everything is. I almost fell over the other day. My daughter wanted some treats, like candy treats at Walgreens, and we were there picking up a prescription. She bought 3 packs of candy, and I'd love to know in the chat if you can guess how much that was. Hey, Angela. We won't talk about this very much because it's really depressing, but it was $9 for 3 packs of candy at the grocery store. I don't know if any of y'all seen that adorable little British girl, but the ice cream truck comes to her neighborhood, and she was hilarious. She was so disappointed. She ended up not buying any ice cream from the man because he wanted 9 pounds for 2 ice creams. And she was like, she couldn't have been more than 10. She was appalled. And I think she kind of captured my spirit every time I go to the grocery store or try to buy a pack of gum at this point. What brought me here, like, is that I can't tell you how much they cost, but I'm sure they don't cost what they used to, these watercolors. You don't need anything special. You can use any watercolors to make a messy background like this. However, I will say that if watercolor is something you really want to give a try, you know, there is a difference. There is a difference. So I'm going to do the same brush kind of separation here. Yeah, so for my daughter the other day, because she was going to eat all that at once. She wanted a pack of candy gummies for the night because it was at night. She wanted a pack for her friend that she rides the bus with, who is so adorable and hilarious. So of course I said yes. And then she wanted one for lunch the next day or after school the next day. So that rounded out to 3 packs of gummies. $9. Like, excuse me? Anyways, we'll move on from that. Nobody wants to think about that. All right. Let's go again with, let's pull up that stencil. Let's see what our cleanup looks like. Clean up on aisle 3. My whole craft room needs to be cleaned up, y'all. It's outrageous. I don't know if I got enough contact. Not bad. Pretty good. There's more on the back too. I'm just gonna clean up the back real quick like that. There we go. Even more transfer. But yeah, this is interesting. A little bit of fodder. You could easily stamp over this and add more color. All right, let's do this again. So I'm just going to lay my stencil down, and then I'm going to let's grab a different palette. I want to use this graphite palette. Y'all have seen me use this quite a bit. Now, this palette is pretty dark, and it doesn't have the punch of patina that I'm looking for, but I am going to grab this blue, I think, and I will mix it with a brighter color from my other palette. And we will get there. And then I'm just going to set this to the side and we're going to start making clusters. Good morning, Maddie. I saw you somewhere yesterday in T's live. It's like I've seen her somewhere recently. Okay. So I'm going to grab a little bit of graphite, goes a very long way. And then I'm wanting to punch that up and make it more like a patina. So I'm going to add a little bit of that like kind of phthalo, because the phthalo can also punch really hard like graphite. So those two will be good together. And then I need to add in a little bit of yellow to be able to get the results that I want. So I'm going to grab a different brush. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of this yellow over here. And I'm going to punch it up with that. And we're going to keep working on this little pile of color right here until I feel like it's, we need more. Now we need more blue. That was too much yellow. I don't want green. Okay. Grab a little bit of this. Ooh, I think that is about what I want right there. Okay. I know y'all probably like she can clean her brush later, but the problem is that I won't. So y'all kind of have to just wait for me to clean that up. Is this enough color? I don't know, honestly, but maybe. Oh yeah, that's the color I want. Okay, let's do this. Now this one isn't going to do the same kind of separation. We're not going to have the granulation that that other color was giving us that I love so much, but it's going to be pretty. And I ran out, but that's okay. We'll just get some more blue, a little more yellow, a little more water. There we go. That'll work too. Okay, let me move this. I've got so many potential avalanches in my craft room right now. It's comical and scary all at the same time. Like, I need a serious cleaning session. Debbie J. Hey there, Debbie. You know, I've been dreaming about going to Creativation with you, but that is not going to happen. We have a lot of medical bills now. So, boo. But I know you're going to have a good time. Okay. Just announce it right here with everyone, but hey. I have been dreaming about it, and I was really kicking it around very seriously. I'm just using the same sheet to get the cleanup here. And yeah, that's a muddy mess, but that should be expected when you're using watercolors through a stencil. Those are very realistic results that you should expect. The cool thing is once this dries, you can always go back and stencil in more of the details if you want them, but I really don't want them. I knew I would get something like this, and that's actually what I wanted for today's backgrounds. So I'm going to put this to the side and let this dry while we make like 15 clusters, okay? So it has no rush. It can take its merry little time. I'm going to move Krusty and his crusty water off of my desk because this is a recipe for disaster. Okay. Potential catastrophe avoided. Comical and scary. Describes a lot of my life, right, Flo? Hey, look, if you can't laugh, the alternative, I think, is crying or maybe even something worse. So let's laugh if we can. Laugh and pray, laugh and pray. All right. I mentioned that I think I have a hack for me having difficulty with clusters, and that is coming right up. Hold on. I already mentioned craft lunch, so I got way more of these than I needed in that pool, but that's okay. So y'all have seen these recently. We've used these for different things. I have probably 500 of them pre-cut, but they are a 4 by 5¼ piece of paper. And I use these as card inserts. And I used to be a A2 card maker, and I would always start my cards with one of these. I never built my cards off of a card base. So I always started with what I called a card front. So I use these as card fronts and card inserts. They're a double duty piece of paper. I'm just going to do 3 at a time because it seems like it lines up well with y'all's scenery. And we are going to build clusters off of this. I'm not going to glue them onto this, but I think my brain works best with a card base. So that's my hack. I'm going to, let's just start playing. I have this whole rainbow of these papers, and I'm going to build my clusters using an A2 card base. So roughly, I mean, these are a little bit smaller. So this tells, and the cool thing about this is this tells me like this cluster is gonna take up a good amount of my card. So this is a big one. It'll be great for like a, 5 by 7 card or whatever. Let's bring in some of these film strips because I'm real happy about these. I like them a lot. So let's add some film strips to today's clusters. And looky there. Now this one's a little taller. I'll have to trim that one off. But the luck of the draw was that a couple of these are the same height. You don't have to keep them that tall if you don't want to use up. I flutter between wanting to use up what I have and not wanting to use up what I have. Anyone else like that? Kind of dance between those places, but I think what I don't want to use up are the things like this that are new to me and that are more in sync with my current style, and the things that I do want to use up are the things I bought 5 years ago and kind of no longer represent me. I've been thinking about that more as we do, smash or stash kind of things. I'm like, okay, well, what is it that I want to smash in my stash? And it's the things that don't really fit in my wheelhouse anymore, but I have them and I should use them or get rid of them. Yeah. All right, this is all purple for the most part. And purple's not vibing real good with our backgrounds because, we all just made the backgrounds together. And I don't think purple is the way to go. I'm going to use this white. I'm going to cut this one sheet into 3 pieces. And this could go this way. And let's put one behind it. And we can get more of that, see more of that film strip on that dark paper. This film strip was kind of getting lost. And so by putting this behind it, it brings it up. It's fine on these other green ones. It's easy enough to see. You got lots of A2 panels in your stash, WJ? Yeah. I mean, it's cool because if I make it on these A2, these could be A2 cards or 5x7s. But I definitely like the idea that, you know, it could go on either one, and I'll have an idea of the size. Okay, so let's go through this very magical folder and let's pull some things out. I have lots of numbers, I have lots of frames. I have a lot of these frames too. I went ahead and bought the rainbow because I like door frames and stuff. I bought the rainbow, I guess it's not really a rainbow, but I bought a variety of these as well. The numbers and things. Ooh, I think this dramatic kind of black and gold would be interesting. These are called time ionic order. Okay. I keep all the packaging, so if y'all ask me, but all of this is from Journalsay. So these are all the products I'm using today are Journalsay. But yeah, I think this really dramatic black and gold is kind of interesting. All right, I'm liking that. Now, I think I can just leave it like this, and this is the cluster. And then when I go to use it on a project, like if I were to put it in a journal or on a card, if I leave it kind of in this neutral state like this, then I can come back and add a focal point that matches the theme I'm working in. So, you know, we could go ahead and add people to the equation, but people might not be where this is going to land. This might land with flowers or something else. I don't know. So I think what I'll do is leave these as neutral clusters. I really like them where they're at, and I think it's honestly enough. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it just like that. I think we just made our first 3 clusters. Definitely putting it on a card base, you guys, for me, is a game changer. Okay, I'm going to use my tiny attacher because I want to and I can. I'm just going to put one little staple in each one of these. Kind of getting the pieces together, and then I can go back and glue them. I don't mind a staple. It used to bother me, but it doesn't really bother me anymore. Probably depends on the project. But right now I'm using the staple for functionality. So now I can go in, it's stapled right there, which really honestly for this one is like enough to keep the cluster together. One of the cool things about just doing the staple to be honest, is then you could come back and tuck in layers if it's not all like glued edge to edge in every possible space. Then you have more options for later tucking things in, or including this onto a card base or something. I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue back here. Now, this film strip is a sticker, but that is the cluster. For whatever reason, if I try to make this on my desk without the piece of paper behind it, you guys, it's like pulling teeth. So sure, Angela, I can definitely give you a rundown of Journalsay real quick. Somehow putting a piece of paper behind it is exactly what I need to do. So this is a sticker, and I didn't staple this down. This one I'm going to peel back. Nothing else on here is a sticker, only this one. So with a whole lot of patience, I'm going to peel this back. And while I do that, I'm going to answer Angela's question, which is, what does Journalsay? I've heard about them, but I don't really know. Journalsay is a company that specializes in papers, stickers, ephemera, and things like that. They had reached out to me some time ago and wanted to know if I would collaborate with them. And I said, sure, because I looked on their site and they weren't, I get a lot of requests to collaborate. And then I look on their site and I'm like, but these aren't your designs. So I usually say no, but Journalsay wasn't like that. They design their stuff and they have really unique stuff and they have really affordable stuff. So, I was like, that's cool. I can get behind that. So I said yes. And what I did is they offered me an affiliate program and all kinds of things, but I'm not doing all that. And I matched what they gave me. So they gave me kind of an allowance that I could use, and I matched it with my own money because that's how I wanted to do it. And I've loved the product. I like using it. I think it's fun. It's inexpensive, so it's fun to shop there. And they have a large variety. And so if you go to Journalsay, I believe it's journalsay.com, then you'll see they have you'll get lost. They have so much stuff to choose from. Okay, we've got 3 clusters down. Very nice people. All right. This is watercolor, guys. Let's check in on our watercolor and see how that's doing. Oh, it's doing nice. It's drying. Look, that just became a puddle. This is like, I don't know why this particular granulating watercolor does so well through a stencil, but it does. Y'all seen me stencil it before. Do y'all remember the cats? The cat series of the 80s cats? Oh gosh, that was a good one. But we stenciled that same granulating watercolor through on that series as well, and they just do really well. All right, let's do it again. This time we'll change it up a little bit. I have a lot of materials to play with. This is cool because these packs also have vellum. See that? It's like a colored and printed vellum. It's gorgeous. So these little packs you can get in a rainbow like I did, and some are just regular paper. It's kind of like rice paper. Then you get vellum, and then you get this craft color. So cool. So you get, you know, it's kind of like a multitude of options here. Oh boy, yesterday I was having to read through a lot of Civil War letters Talk about intensity. I read one to my husband about soldiers on the front line, and wow, just wow. The courage, the devotion, the dedication, the honor. It's just incredible. This time we will use some leading ladies. Let's pick, I think though, we're either going to pick the neutrals pack or we're going to pick the blues because it's going to go better with our situation. So let's use them. Okay, another option that I have, let me get these out, are, oh, thanks, Maddie. It's so fun to play and use my stuff. Hey, Ave. I picked up some of the windows too, these kind of gothic stained glass windows. And I've used them. Y'all see me use them, but not a ton. Again, I kind of find, I think, what I like, what I'm interested in, and then I get a rainbow. Like, I kind of know the things that I like, I would say. Let's see how a window plays into it. I'll grab one from each pack. Really gothic, cool. And I love that these are stickers because you can get some light behind them, you know? Let's grab a pink just for fun. Pink will be fine with our backgrounds. Ooh, look at that one. Isn't she lovely? Okay, so we've got these gothic kind of stained glass options. And then I saw some flowers over here. These right here. So this one's called DIY Handmade Flowers. And they kind of, I bought them because they look like jewelry. A lot of them. They look like costume jewelry, which I have a fondness for enamel costume jewelry because my mom has always loved it. So it just makes me think of her. So let's use a few of these too. Just gonna grab a handful. And if you're wondering, this is how you spell Journalsay. It's just like journal say. Say what? Say. Okay, let's see if any of this goes together. We've kind of got 3 different palettes now with these windows, and we could make the windows our base. Let's leave one of these down. You know, we have options. How about we leave one of these down and put the other ones back over here. And some of these will build off of the window. 2 of them will build off of the window, and this one we're going to build onto this other scrap. Now, ooh, love the yellow contrasting with the blue purple. And there as well. So, ooh, this one has purple in it. Has purple in that center piece. So let's put that one here. All matchy-matchy. Put that one there. Okay. Let's grab a leading lady. I picked kind of tall windows because of scale. And yeah, that's working for me. I don't know about that color dress there because I feel like she blends a little too much. I think we need more contrast. Look, she looks like she's going to the chapel. Somebody's getting married. Yeah, she goes really nicely there. I'm going to go to my neutrals for these. And there's also a little bit of yellow in these neutrals, so that's good too. She's serious about this moment. She is not playing around. Okay, I like these. Do I want the flower in front of her, or do I want her in front of the flower? I think I want the flower in front of her. These are very well cut out. I have to say, these are extremely, I checked them all, and they're so extremely well printed and well cut out. Really fine details. I mean, that space between her arm, let me put it up here for you, is incredible. Very, very fine detailed cutouts. I like this. I like this a lot. I think I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to worry too much. We've got like 3 elements going on, and that's good. I just don't think we need a whole lot more. Kind of sweet to have that little extra flower up at the top. Yeah, but I think by the time you add like a sentiment to these or something, you know, and you put them on a page or you put them on a card and you add a sentiment, we've got a good thing going here. So I'm going to call these done. I don't know that this is the best adhesive option or choice that I'm making right now, but I think I'm going to use Fabrifix to glue these elements down because this is a plastic sticker. And I'm not sure that my typical glue is going to be the best option. So I'm going to opt for Fabrifix. And I think in my head, it's a good option. If you had glue dots, this would be a good job for a glue dot. I don't buy those anymore because I just don't use them. I think this acetone-based glue, though, is going to do the trick. So there is a cluster. Okay. Another one done, and I'm getting acetone all over this card front, but that's okay. There's another side to it. I was reading and I got a glue spot on there. Oh boy. Kind of made a mess of her. That's okay. You can't tell when she's laid down. Gosh, I really love these flowers, you guys, with the gemstones. I mean, it's all faux, it's paper, but like the faux gemstones, and this is like faux enamel. It's so, just so nostalgic. I love nostalgia. In my wedding, my something old, well, it's kind of my something old and my something blue. I wore a really old, like 1950s brooch that was enamel blue. It was so pretty. Flower. enamel blue flower that my mom had given me. See, I'm a sucker for nostalgia. I like the butterfly right behind her head like that. I like her centered here in this window with the butterfly right behind her. That's really cool. I'm going to go ahead, since I'm using a paper behind this one, and I'll remove the backing for the sticker and just stick it down. Now, I'll probably end up sticking these stickers down by removing the backing too at some point. Now, because they're stickers, another thing I could see myself doing is going ahead and sticking this down to a white piece like this, because you're going to get the most light from that, and then cutting out around it and turning it into a cluster that way. Because if I put this on a dark piece of paper, let me demonstrate, you lose the light. It darkens up. I mean, it's kind of cool because you can see the writing behind the moon, which is really neat. See that? But it does darken it up a bit versus that. So if you want it to stay bright white and have a lot of light, then stick these down to white and then just cut out around them, would be my recommendation. Hey, Jenny G, good morning. Yeah, Vicky, we're doing the temperature roller coaster here too. It's like in the 80s, but it's supposed to get cold. Yeah, it was 80 on Monday for you too. Yeah, it's been like 83. We're a little further south. But it's supposed to drop. You and I are kind of in a similar, finally got it, weather pattern. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this down on here. And then I'm gonna come in and put this flower over here. And we'll have 3 more clusters done. Let me check on my watercolor paper. We're kind of just making clusters until that watercolor paper dries so that we can also turn those into like cards. That one's done. These are done. I'm not gonna, at this time, I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna worry about what it's being backed on because I don't know yet what project I'm gonna use these on. I can just put these eventually, if I don't use them today, in my cluster books and use them later. So we've got 6 done. This is the trick. I have hacked clusters for my brain. Yay. Okay, let's just keep going. I'm gonna close up my glue real quick. Aww. Aw, Sharon, that sounds so lovely. She's snuggled in her chair with a soft, warm blanket and hanging out with us and eating chocolate. Well, thanks, Linda. I used Mission Gold. There you go, Mission Gold. But you can use anything at all. And then I also use my Kuretake because Kuretake is my favorite watercolor brand. We still got a little drying to do here, you guys, but it's getting much closer. The Kuretakes, because you have to use a lot of water to get that separation in the granulating set, are the ones that are kind of holding up the game. But we could always take a heat tool to it, but I'm having fun making clusters, so I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to let it do its thing. I'm going to do my thing, and it's all good. All right, Journalsay. Let's do it again. Let me see if I have more of those Art Nouveau little pieces. I think they were back here. I don't really have these in any kind of, there's no really rhyme or reason. They're just kind of in here. I think they came from here. So let's look through here real quick and we'll pick a whole new vibe. This has got a majority. No, that girl's going in the trash. Okay, Picasso, sometimes, but not always. All right. Sorry. I'm going for something more like this, but you could totally do others. I got to go through like 150 Japanese woodblock prints yesterday as well and read about those. I have just the coolest job. But anyways, it was funny because I started my day with Japanese woodblock prints and I ended in the Civil War letters, and what a contrast. But anyways, this is definitely a Japanese woodblock. And where's the wave? Right here. Fascinating art. I was actually doing, they were all like individuals, the ones I was doing. They weren't scenes. And I was doing era like 1750 to 1900 woodblock. Yeah, I just played, Angie, but definitely go back and watch it if you want to check it out. But yeah, I was just playing. Just spreading some color. I did choose two different, so I have one huge piece of paper, it's 11 by 15, but I did kind of choose two different color palettes. But we had fun, so yeah. Definitely go back and check it out if you like. So these are Roman holiday frames. I want to see if they'll work. I don't know that they will. I definitely want the numbers, and I want these floral ones. And the last time I made them with these doilies, and I liked that too. So let me pull out these doilies. Okay. I am going to, I think I'll leave it. I was going to cut it, but I think I'll leave it. But yeah, these green doilies just are like kind of meant to be. I feel like with these Art Nouveau ladies. Okay. Let's see if these frames are the answer. No. I'm feeling like the answer is probably going to be no, they're not. We need smaller frames that one might work. I just need to lob off that little piece right there. That one could potentially work. Okay. We'll hold it out as a contender. Okay. And then I want these numbers, and these numbers, they come with numbers and labels. So let's use some of these, and then let me bring in, since I know those frames aren't going to work for us, I'm going to throw these back in here. And we're going to transition to these other, oh, whoops, those don't go there. Oh, the doilies go there. Okay, well, we're done with those. We'll put those back too. That's why I like to keep these labels. Plus, I can remember if I want to reorder them, what they were called. Okay, that'll work. These frames. Let's take a look real quick. I need to refresh my memory of the colors we're playing with here. A lot of red and green and orange, which is perfect for the backgrounds we made. So let's pick some doors. I think these red doors and frames would be interesting. I don't need big ones. I want little ones. Look how ornate this is. Again, I like Journalsay. They do a very good job with all their intricate cuts. It's a nice quality at an affordable price. I'm a Journalsay fan. I need small ones, so I'm going to pick this other small one to go with her. Because the little frame is not the star of the show. The lady is, so I have to keep her as the dominant kind of factor there. All right, so now we'll add some numbers, and I think we'll have these clusters in a good place. Oh, I think I like that there. And I like that right there. And this one, I'm still not sure. I'm just going to commit to it, is what I'm going to do. This is a great scrap to have. All right, I committed. And I like it. Good job. Sometimes we just have to strike out and be bold. All right, let's pick some labels and numbers. Ooh, I want a 3. My anniversary is coming up, and it's March 3rd. So that's why I want a 3. Do I have a 5? I should have a 5. You only get one of each number. I'm kind of thinking about like my friends, and I have a friend that her birthday's on May 5th. So I could see myself using that for her card. And then I love the number 3 because of the Trinity. Let's put a 4 here though. I only have 1 3 anyways. And then it can put in some of these if we want. They don't mean anything. You know, essentially they don't really mean anything. They're just added interest. In different sizes. 1932 is very appropriate for this style of art. Let's put that there. And I think I'm going to put that one right there. And I'm going to call these clusters done. Okay, I'm going to put all my numbers back. And I opted, since these had so many tiny pieces, to keep them in their packaging. And then keep that packaging inside of here because things can slip out. All right, so that goes there, and I found where this paper clip goes. Right there. Look, we've made 9 clusters and still not even a dent in this collection of mine. All right, let's glue this stuff down. I would definitely say I'm a person who tends to use way more glue than you need. I am my father's daughter, and that is why. All right. Let's pop her in there. And I just cut that slightly shorter, you know, than the cutouts of the frame, so it wouldn't stick out, and you could still see all the beautiful detailed cutouts. All right, and then I'm just going to tack this one down to the doily. We have a cluster. Oh, I feel so excited that I have hacked the cluster. Because yes, I have struggled with them. If you have too, I encourage you to give this concept a try of setting out a base for yourself so you can trick your brain into thinking, I'm making a card, but you're not making a card. You're making a cluster. That's how my brain works. It needs to think it's making a card. I'm going to move this down just a little bit. I don't want to move it down too much. The other thing that I love about this is that it gives me a spatial area so that if I wanted to put this cluster on an A2 card, I know that it's going to take up the whole card in a very beautiful way, but it's going to take up the whole card. So that's cool. I like having that spatial reference as I'm creating it. Now I need to lift this or it is going to be a card because I did get glue, you know, in a few places where it would stick down there. But another cluster. Just move it off the edge there. And then let's do this one here. And then you guys, we'll cut up our watercolor. It looks like I'm going to have to just force it to dry a little bit. We'll force my paper to dry a little, and then we'll make a couple of cards real quick with these clusters, and I'll let you guys go. I know it's Saturday. You probably want to go play, and I get that. But I hope this has been enjoyable. How many years have I been married? Okay, let me do the math. I don't know off the top of my head. Math. Okay. $18 years this March. So 17 currently. And on March 3rd, 18 years. But I have the best love story. I don't know how many times I've told it, but I have the best love story with my hubby. He was born in Jamaica, but his family came to the States. His parents finished their PhDs and masters here in the States, and then They moved to a town just about, he grew up from his adolescence from about 10 or 12. I think he was about 10, like 5 miles from my house. And our paths crossed many times. We even shared some of the same groups of friends, but we never officially met until we were in college down 4 or 5 hours away from where we grew up. We both ended up in the same kind of college town. And the day I moved down there, I walked into a music store to get some music to unpack to, and I saw him, and it was just like love at first sight. But we just talked and were friends for a couple of years before we ever dated. But it was all in perfect time. And I proposed to him in Italy when we were traveling together, and I've just been madly in love with him ever since. And he's just the best husband and the best father. He's just the best. So, yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones with the best love story. You love the framed one, Jenny? I like that one too. It turned out well, didn't it? We could do, a whole batch of those. I also like these deconstructed ones because I feel like they're less tidy, so it gives more like grit to the project, if that makes sense. They feel more gritty and deconstructed, so you want to keep looking at it to try to figure it out. Where this one's a little more tidy and makes more sense, so it's kind of easier on the eyes in that way. But yeah, these are really fun. I've got my own Art Nouveau ladies coming out. I think I'm going to have to make more. It's been one of my favorite art styles since forever. Since I was a little girl. Okay, we got 3 more. So we've made 9 clusters. I love the different like eras and time periods between Art Nouveau and the 50s. And then we have some that don't have any people at all. And they're just kind of textural, botanical, fun with the film strip and the hole punched paper. So those are our clusters. Let's get the watercolor paper back out. I say this hack totally worked for me. Not everyone needs a hack. Some people just naturally make clusters all day long and they don't feel like they struggle. Yay, you. But I feel like I have struggled with clusters since the beginning of time. So I'm stoked to have figured this out. Okay, I'm going to put those off to the side. I'm going to put my clusters off to the side, and we are going to look at this again, and I need to dry it. Although this side is pretty dry, if you're wondering if your watercolor is dry, if it feels cool to the touch, then it's not dry. Typically. By and large. All right. You got married when you were 20. I was 25, I think. That would require more math. Heidi Robbins. Howdy. Howdy, Heidi. Oh, I love stories. You know that. So send me your love story. I'd love to hear it. And you can tell me, send me your love story. I'll make a card based on your love story and send it back to you. How about that, Heidi? We could do a whole series if y'all want to send me your love stories. Depends on how many we got, but because then, and you feel like I can, you know, write it in a way that I can share, that you're comfortable with me sharing it, and then we can make a card based on your love story. That would be fun. And make sure I have your return address. Sometimes my sweet friends send me things and they don't really give me their full return address. I love stories. That's one of the things I love about my job, is that there's a lot of backstory that I get to history and to art, and I think that's the thing that keeps me interested in doing the same thing. I've been at my job for 15 years and I don't tire of it because of the stories and the art history and the variety. Like yesterday, going from Japanese to Civil War, I don't get bored, which is really important for me. Nima, I watched you at 2 o'clock in the morning and I loved it. I watched all of it. You did so great. And Miss Nima, I pulled out my watercolors because I was like, I reflected when I woke up this morning after watching you on Craft Roulette last night. I was like, I used to find it, like I watercolored on every card I made for years because it's my favorite way to color stamped images too. And I haven't used my watercolors and as often, definitely not as regularly as I used to. I couldn't have made a card without them. And so watching you last night color up your little gnomes, you did such a great job. You're so fun. It was just so fun. I watched every minute and loved it all. You did a great job. You and Mary. Mary gets such good practice each week. I'm just loving her coloring lately. I've always loved her quirky design. Mary's quirky. Her designs are quirky. I think we probably have that in common to an extent, though different. A bit of our personality comes through the things we make, I think. Anyways, hats off, Nima. Way to go. You're such a delight. So fun, so spunky. It was funny. I couldn't sleep, so I turned on Craft Roulette, and then Nima and Mary were having so much fun that then I really couldn't sleep. So after I watched the full episode, I was like, okay, now I have to find something boring. I actually have to go back to sleep. Glittery shoes. Yeah. Oh, bless your heart too. Like when she first spun the wheel and got those parameters, I was like, Mr. Wheel. Wow. But you didn't let that intimidate you. You did fabulous. Okay. I need to math for a minute. I've got an 11 by 15. And I need to figure out how I'm going to cut it down. So hold on. My brain's still braining. I know we've used this paper before and I got a lot of 5x7s out of it. So I'm just trying to remember, how did I do that again? I could get 4 if I cut them down to 5x7. I could get 4 full backgrounds. Let's just do that. So on the longest side, the 15-inch side, I need to cut things down to 7. And my paper is pretty wrinkly, y'all. But that's okay. We're gonna work it out. So there's 7. I'm gonna trim off this blue side. I know it's interesting and cool, but I'm gonna trim it off because I did kind of have 2 distinct color palettes. So thank you, Nima, for inspiring me. That is a fun scrap to have. I'm just saying. All right. And 5. Yeah, thanks for inspiring me this morning. I wanted to play with my watercolors again. Get them back out. Another fabulous scrap. 2 fun, grungy backgrounds. Exactly what I wanted. Okay, let's do it again. Nice. Love that. Alrighty. I was sitting here in silence thinking that I really need to accept Tim Holtz's retirement. I know he said he's not retiring, but like, I'm still in a period of accepting you guys. As ridiculous as that may sound. Oh yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to want a border. I think I need a border on my cards. So I'm going to probably have to cut these down a little bit, but see, then you just need to add a cluster. Although I think she's going to need to go on the orange, maybe. And we might not need, if I can talk, we may not even use all of these on these particular backgrounds, but I just want to play with them because ooh, that's nice. We've made all of these together. I like those 2 together. Okay, then so I'm going to leave that one. That one's for sure. I'm going to leave that's happening. Let's work with some of these others that we made. See, this is going to be brighter if I come in and add that on white. That pink is going to pop a lot more. It's going to get a little lost and a little dark on that darker background. So that if I was going to use that one on that card, then I would definitely put that onto white. Let's look at these. Ooh, I think that's interesting too. Just kind of playing around, looking at the things you made. See, I think those still need people. She's kind of interesting on there. Not so much. I don't think she's going to work. She's going to go in the cluster book. It's that purple, you guys. A new purple. I know this has a little bit of purple, but it's only a tiny bit. It's more blue. This one I think we can make work. The other one, not so much. Let's look at this one on here. Well, Nima, I'm so glad I've inspired you too. See, it just goes, we all get to inspire each other. Ooh, I like that one. I'm gonna put those, so those 2 are done. I like where those are going. Let's go back to these blue. I think I'm going to leave this lady off for now. I'm not just like crazy about that situation. So I don't think I'll be crazy about this one either. Nope. But that's okay. Those can go in my cluster books. We'll put them in my cluster books. And I think we will stick to these ladies being on these backgrounds. And this will go in the cluster book too. So let's put those in the cluster book while we're here. I'm just going to turn and kind of find a place I can stick them down. I also, when I made my cluster book, I made myself a pocket. So some things I didn't have to, you know, tape down, but I got an open spot here because I used one. So I'm just going to use my ATG and stick that right there. Okay. Let's find some more open areas. Put that one right there. And I bet this lady will fit right here. Yeah, she doesn't have to be straight. She's just going to be ripped out of here one day anyways. I just need real estate. This is the only thing when your tape, you got to make sure you pull your tape up if it doesn't come up with your cluster. It looks like I'm a mechanic, but this is all watercolor. And there's nothing wrong with mechanic. But I haven't been working on my car. I've been painting paper. All right. Let's find a place for this little lady. I'll move that bird up there. I'm going to put her over here. And then we've got one more. Got this one right here. Just a little too big. These are clusters I made with paste. So that was a series we did putting paste on them. Another sticky situation. Put that right there. Okay. I'm good with that. Oh goodness. Where did that come from? Oh, that came from right there. Okay. Whew. All right, let's make these work and then I'll let you guys go. So I really like these ladies here on these cards. I am feeling like I'm going to want a background though, so let's trim these down a little bit. Oh, Flo. If you're not here, it's just not as much fun. I don't know what you're kicking and screaming on the on the floor like a toddler about, but the imagery of it is hilarious. Okay, I'm going to trim this down to 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. At first, we'll go for a small border, and then we'll see if I even like it. Hey, Debbie. Welcome. If I have missed anyone, I apologize. Miss Carmina, I hope you're doing well. You're going to play with your watercolor, Maddie? Yay. I'm so glad. Now, y'all know Nima's the one that made me that little book that I like to open up of the watercolor pictures. And I just love it. I just love it. Okay, I definitely am liking the border. I think I'm going to take it down a little more. So I'm going to do 4.5. Final answer. 4.5 by 6.5. And I don't mind having these scraps, although the next one that I cut down, I'll have bigger scraps because I'm going to cut it down differently. Not everybody likes a big white border, and that's fine. But for me, it gives the eye rest when you have a lot going on, and we have a lot going on. Do we need some lace to help break it up? Let's find out. I hate to cover this up. I love that part of the paper, but this won't work over there because of the doily. I think the lace helps. Okay. I'm going to train my paper. And as much as I love this area and what's going on here, I have to think about the overall composition, and I have to choose what's best for the card and not get stuck on not wanting to cover something up. And that is, I think, one of the trickiest things as a card maker, because you work in a limited space. So as a journal maker, I think you can be more selective in that way. You can pick a part of the page that you don't want to cover up, and you don't have to because you have a whole page to play with, or you have a whole spread between 2 pages to play with, right, for placement of things. But as a card maker, we're working with a more limited space, and so I think we have to practice the ability to look at the card as a whole and choose what's best for the card and allow ourselves to cover certain things up, even if it's hard. In this case, I just think the white lace helps separate the cluster from the background a little more. So I have to do it. Even though it's that particular area that the watercolor is doing what I wanted, which is the granulation and separation between orange and blue. But at last, this is what's best for the card, in my opinion. Okay, so now I'm going to glue this down. We're going to finish up these, and I'm going to go, you guys. It has been so much fun. I'm not saying goodbye yet. We've still got 3 cards to make. But just in case you're wondering, like, is she ever going to be done? The answer is yes. It's going right there. I know. I love seeing flow in the chat, too. I love seeing all of y'all there. Diane from the Messy Palette, she's also always so hilarious. What do y'all think? I like it. We don't have a sentiment on here, but you don't have to have a sentiment on a card. I like it. Okay, let's do it again. We'll speed this up a little more because I already know that I'm going to take off 1/2 inch. So I'm going to make this 4.5 by 6.5. I need to try out the matcha chai 3-pump Mariah's special today. And I think I'll get myself a croissant while I'm doing it. Anybody else planning their special treats? When we were in Italy, and we got back, my husband was like, I think you must have some Italian, because you seem to plan your day from one meal to the next like the Italians do. It's like you're finishing up breakfast and you're like, okay, but what are we going to make for lunch? Okay, this one I don't think needs a lace. And the difference is we have this bright green breaking up the pattern. We had less of that over here. We did have a little bit of the bright green, but not too much. It was a lot of the blue and the orange. I think having more of that green and aligned with the lady really works. So I'm not going to add lace to this one. I'm going to glue it down, just the cluster with the background. Now I'm using this glue strategically because it's an acetone based glue. It will not bubble that thin paper. A water-based glue like my PVA will. So just a little word to the wise, but I can use my PVA to glue the watercolor paper down. And I use a pretty thick card base, so I don't have to worry about this. For me, that white border just allows your eye to have some rest on the card. If I had taken that background edge to edge, there wouldn't be any resting space for the eye. So that's those two. 3 and 4. Let's do the last two, and we'll figure out what they need to. These are the last two that we're going to work with, and I think I'm going to stick with this one. I'm going to do edge to edge, I think, because although the background is grungy and it has kind of a lot going on, it's not so much. So I think this one can just go straight down without a border. Let's take a look and see. And then this one will probably get a border, which will help incorporate the white. You know, it'll make it more cohesive. So see, I kind of consider these things on a case-by-case basis. I can look at this and go, yeah, I don't want a white border. Like if I hold it to my card base and I kind of stagger it off, I can kind of gauge and say to myself, no border needed. So I'm not going to cut that background down. Whoa, there we go. Well, that's serendipitous. I actually scored it wrong. I got a line there. Oh, that's going to be the back. Well, that's fine. Or I might make it the front and just trim off. There's a little edge. Yeah, just trim off the extra. So this one I'm going to glue straight down. If my thought process just doesn't jive for you, you don't have to put that much thought into it all. It's just kind of my method and how I work. But like, if you're like, I don't want to think that much about it, you don't have to. There's hardly anything to trim off, but I'm going to try. Ooh, I got it. Okay, it's just a sliver, and then a sliver down here too. It's just a little off. There we go. That's a cool background. I really like that. So when you're playing with your watercolor, don't stress about it when you're making yourself a background. Like we just were very free and having fun. I know what this needs. This needs a little bit of gold splatter. So I'm going to put this to the side for now. Let's go ahead. This one I know I want to trim up to 4.5 by 6.5. And all these scraps I'm keeping because these are just really going to make beautiful like decorative details for the inside of the card if we want to use them that way. Esther, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I know 2025 is a dumpster fire. I know that it is. I'm feeling it over here too. Ooh, this is going to be fun. Okay. Oh, I put my scoreboard away a little too soon. You guys, I think I have embraced and adjusted to this Spellbinders situation very well. Now, if they stop making the cutting blades, you'll probably hear me scream and I won't even have the camera on. Esther will hear me all the way from Germany if I have to pivot and find another cutting board anytime soon. Because I'm so particular. It's all my fault. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to have to trim a little bit of that top off. I can't seem to get it quite straight today. It's all right. That's what scissors are for. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Maddie. I don't know if by sharing my thought process, I slowly reveal just how crazy I am or if it helps. I went on a road trip back in college with a bunch of friends, and one of them was from Colombia. He was from Bogota. And we were on the road for like, I don't know, 2 months together, traveling all over the United States, going to national parks and things like that. Being hippies. And at one point, I had completely just, I guess, driven him nuts. He was like, "You're too serious. You think about things too much. Don't you ever just do things without thinking about it?" I'm like, "No. Is that what people do?" Oh, David. It was funny. My friend stood up for me. She's like, "It's okay. We're all different. Leave her alone." She was a school teacher. She was an art teacher. She's like, "It's okay. If she wants to think about things, and if you don't want to think about things." It's stuck in my mind, though. I can't, that was 23 years ago, and I haven't forgotten it. I haven't forgotten that conversation. Okay, I'm peeling off just a little bit of the sticker backing because I don't want it flipping up. I don't mind the bottom for some reason, but the top I didn't want flipping up. All right, let's put, now this one I think could handle a sentiment. But at the same time, I don't mind this. It's really different. Like, what occasion would we give this card on? I'm not sure, but I like it. I mean, I think it could be used for multiple occasions. Very cool. I like it. All right. Where's that cardboard box Tim Holtz sold me? Found it. Oh, Tim. You deserve your happiness. I will let you follow your bliss, but it's really hard. Okay. This has a ball in it. Just trying to shake it up. I'm going to grab a fan brush because I like fan brushes for this job. This one's a little stiff. It probably wasn't cleaned properly the last time I used it. So I already got rid of my watercolor cup. I'm just going to do this. Well, it's clean. It's pretty clean. By my standards, that's clean enough for a brush. Okay. Just want to get it good. All right. So this is Kuretake product as well. This is a whole big vat of this gold ink that is just gorgeous. I'm going to use a pen. And I'm just going to flick this gold ink onto our base. And oh my goodness, this was the right choice. I know you're going to have to sit here and watch me dry this, but it was worth it. For me anyways. For this girl. And it'll be hard to capture exactly what that looks like on camera. But see all that gold? Totally worth it. Okay. Okay. Let's do a little gold mark making. More can be added later. Or now. I'm just going to kind of clean up my brush. I love these little trays, you guys. I use them for sequins, and I like the one that comes to a point because it's easier to put your sequins back in your bag if that's how you store them, if that's your bag. But then also like mixing paint. They're a multi-purpose kind of tool for the craft room. I didn't get fancy ones. I got inexpensive ones off of Amazon. There we go. All right, pretty clean brush going back in. And I'll just move that to the side. All right. Let me dry this. I hear you, bird. It's time. I know, it's time, y'all. Yeah, you can totally ink smush with gold watercolor, Angie. Absolutely. Let me take up, there's a spot of water that got on there that I don't want. Can y'all see all that gold? It's hard to capture it exactly, but it's, in real life, it's magical. And I'm so badly wanting to show you how magical it is. There we go. I think that shows it pretty well. And it's all over the background. It's a gold blizzard. Yeah, he still has, that's what he said. He has like a year's worth of product still to come out because they work like a year ahead. But then he has no plans for new products after that. I mean, all credit to Tim because I can't imagine how, like, he felt like it was the right decision as soon as he made it. I know he said that, but like, it's taken me like a month to still process this situation. So kudos to him for creating a brand like that we struggle to think about having to do without one day. Okay. There, that's where she's supposed to be. And I'm going to use, again, my Fabri-Tac, because this is all kind of thin paper. And nothing frustrates me more than spending time making something and then seeing glue lines. It just kind of is a pet peeve of mine, to be honest. I could still slap sling on these. I've got it on my desk, but I won't do it. We're done. Don't worry. I'm not extending it by slapping slang on it, but I could. Okay. What I am going to do is grab some of these scraps that I had cut off, and I'm just going to add them to the inside. And we could do stamping on the inside like we did yesterday, but then I'd be holding y'all here longer than I said I would. But for now, we could put ephemera in here. We could put this just trimmed off piece that I had trimmed off the front panel of one of the cards, not actually this one, but it matches. Okay. I've got more, but wait, there's more. This one was trimmed from here. I could put this down at the bottom. It's usually where I put this. Did I miss anything? Do y'all have any questions for me? Feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm sure I missed a lot. Well, my pleasure, Jennifer. I was really hoping there'd be a knock on my door from UPS while we were doing this, but that hasn't happened yet. I haven't tried those. I haven't heard of those, Nima. Oh my gosh, you guys, I know I'm not able to capture it. I'm just not able to, but the shimmer on this, the golden stardust on this is just spectacular. All right, let's add some inside pieces for these ladies and call it a day. I'm just using my cutoffs, my scraps. I have some beautiful stamps. Oh boy, now I want to pull them out. Well, I'll do it later. I'm looking around to see if it's within arm's reach. Well, I found her sisters, but I didn't find the one I was looking for. I'm not looking for that one. I actually used that one the last time I was on Craft Roulette, Miss Nima. But yeah, like I have some kind of Art Nouveau looking stamps, which would be so pretty in here. I wish I had that girl. I have her, and obviously her. I'd like to have the whole collection. These are older though. These are from 2015. I want to stamp her in on both of these Art Nouveaux real quick. Sorry. It's just once there's a vision for something. Oh boy. Don't do what I do. Here, we'll try to cover that up. Yeah, not exactly where I wanted to put her, but that's okay. I had a boo-boo down there, so I had to cover it up. But yeah, and then I can come in with more ephemera too. Oh, sorry guys. I know, I was trying to finish and say goodbye and stuff, and a whole rabbit hole just opened. But where are those? There they are. Remember these that are on the front? But after you've been here this long, I'm sure you want to see the way it's finished. So let's flip it open. Okay, I did not put a flower on these. I put the flowers on the 1950s girls. That's right. But I can kind of finish. I like that. Let's do that. See, I would totally order these again. So I'm glad I kept the labels so I know what they're called. There, and that's how I finished that off. Let's do this other chickie right here real quick. So try not to get anything on this finished card. Use the scrap we cut off from the front. Over here. Just turning over to the back. Make sure I got it all lined up nicely. Check. Okay. Let's ink this girl up. Maybe not over the card, the finished card. It's not even an amateur move. It's just a sloppy move that I do from time to time. And this is more of where I wanted her on the first card. There we go. And let's bring in a couple of flowers for her too. Kind of like that. There, that fits better. And then that one right there. Different. Maybe a little strange, but I like it. Different is good. I don't have to worry about my friend getting a birthday card from anyone else that's going to look like this. That's for sure. So that's that. We did it. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. That was a marathon. Saturdays are kind of like that around here because I don't have something rushing me out the door, something being responsibility. we really just kind of get to marinate in the makes and dive in as deep as we want to go on a Saturday. So those are our 4 cards that we just made together. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you're feeling inspired. Oh, good. It gave you an excuse to put off adulting a little longer. Well, yippee, me too. So there's our 4 cards. You guys, I am just, there's always one thing that's not like the other with me. I've got 3 kind of a kind, and then I ended up with this one. It just never fails. But I like them all, and it was a fun process, and it was very joyful, and you were a big part of that. So thank you all so much for spending your time with me. I know you could be anywhere in the world, and you're right here with me and with everyone else in the chat, and it just touches my heart so deeply. And I miss you when we're not together, especially for many days at a time. But I love you guys sincerely, and I hope you have a beautiful weekend. I hope that you're busy crafting and making something, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.